Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about a video that I came across on TikTok. Due to the TikTok advocate, she did a stitch with this creator, but I whittled it down and I want to react to what the original person was saying and why do people not like mommy vloggers? Let's react to it. If you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys. So I was scrolling on TikTok last night and came across this video, and I know, well, I knew that I wanted to react to it immediately because I hear this argument from people in comment sections all the time. And this girl is saying it on video, so I figured that it would make for a good reaction. I'm a little tongue-tied today, but we're going to I have, like I said, I took out the TikTok advocate's commentary, but I will link her video down below in case you want to hear what she had to say. Now, just as an FYI, this girl has deleted her video after she was receiving some backlash and people inquiring about, hey, where'd the video go? She did respond to them and say that she deleted it because too many people were disagreeing with her. Welcome to social media. People are not going to agree with you, especially when you're literally advocating for people exploiting the shit out of their kids. It's not okay. People don't agree with it. And the conversation around anti-family vlogging is growing and it's going to continue to grow. So either way, we'll let her have the floor and see what she has to say.
I just want somebody to explain to me this whole anti-mommy vlogger, anti-mommy channels, family channels, like these people who are creating their whole social media platforms around how fucked up and terrible and evil these mommy vloggers are.
Some of the mommy vloggers are terrible because of the things that they are oversharing, like medical information, telling people where their children go to school, giving strangers on the internet so much information about your children who cannot consent is a big deal, and it's an important conversation. Now, there are a lot of people on social media, I see it sometimes on TikTok for sure, where they are anti-family vlogger, and I don't agree with the way that they're delivering their message, even if they have some valid points. I've talked about that before, but for the most part, people that want to carry this conversation and have it are approaching it from an educational standpoint. So maybe she just hasn't found the right channel. But for me, the majority of people that are talking about family vlogging, on its way out, anti-family vlogger, whatever you want to call it, most of them are carrying the conversation cool, calm, and collected and just, doing it that way. So maybe she has come across negative content that she didn't like. I am not sure, but it is a very important conversation. And if it wasn't, then I don't think that it would have continued to grow into what it has become.
Do you guys live under a rock? Do you live under a rock like Patrick Starr? Oh,
I think that she might be the one that lives under a rock, because if she is so confused as to why people don't like to see children being exploited when they cannot consent, maybe she's the one that lives under a rock. But let's keep going.
there's probably a billion of different topics that anybody could talk about that's fucked up and wrong with the world. Yet you're gonna pick on these mommy vloggers.
Okay, so what I want to say about this is I hear this all the time. Oh, there are so many other things that you could be talking about that are really important. Here's the thing. What's important to you might be important to me, but not as important as what I'm delivering a video on. I use my platform to constantly talk about things that I'm passionate about, whether it's people mistreating their animals, scamming their subscribers, grifting, sad fishing, lying, using mental health as a shield, using their religion as a shield, all kinds of things that I'm super passionate about. So I can only speak for my own content here. I don't only stick to anti-family vlogger stuff. I'm very passionate about multiple different things. Some of the things I make videos on, some I don't, because I don't have 24 hours in a day to devote to making content. But I do try to cycle through and talk about things that I feel very passionately about. And this is just such a weak argument because people can care about multiple things at the same time, and it's their choice on whether they want to cover it, or maybe they're taking in more information and they're going to cover it after the fact. Maybe it's something where it's like an open investigation. I know a lot of true crime channels will wait for everything to go through the court system before they cover it. And that's their decision to make. It's their platform. You want to sit here and stand up for people that are exploiting their kids, and other people can choose what it is that they want to cover on a normal basis.
Family channels because they're exploiting their kids. What are you doing? Like, do you realize one day when these kids grow up and they find
For
out
her to put exploiting in air quotes tells me that she really doesn't get it. I think that some more research could have been done before she decided to make this video and sound so stupid on the internet, because yes, I do think this video sounds very stupid. It sounds very uninformed. It sounds very much like you really don't care about children's privacy and how they might feel down the road. We're going to keep going here. She does bring up how are the kids going to feel when they see anti-family vlogger content, as when they get older. In my opinion, I think that kids will appreciate it as long as the content was delivered from a pure place and it wasn't full of insults, bullying, and dragging their parents. I don't think that people will appreciate that very much. But channels like TikTok Advocate, Mom Uncharted, they're both over on TikTok, obviously. They deliver fantastic content that comes from an educational standpoint, and they are passionate about what it is that they're discussing. They're not doing it for clicks and views, and they're not being jerks when they're talking about these parents. They come from a very matter-of-fact standpoint. So I think that some kids are going to appreciate the fact that somebody was advocating to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be oversharing and using your kids for clicks and views.
their mom or their dad was on YouTube and had videos with them and is excited to go back and look and see their childhood memories, they're going to find your videos.
This whole childhood memory thing, I've had this conversation before. Number one, these kids are getting older, and a lot of them have gone on Reddit under anonymous usernames and shared their experiences, their negative experiences about coming from a family vlogging business model where their whole childhood was content, and they were vlogged when they were going into the hospital to have surgery, and these young girls were given period talks on a vlog, and they were given the birds and the bees talks on a vlog, and everybody knew what kind of medications the kids were on, so on and so forth. But as far as this argument of, oh, they want to go back and look at family videos. Guess what? Family videos do not need to be broadcast to the internet. If you want to document your children's childhood, I totally understand that. And not all videos are bad, but unfortunately, what a lot of parents do is they see the clicks and views that are generated by clickbaiting or oversharing about really sensitive stuff, and so they continue with that business model. Surface level vlogging is not the problem here. It's the snowball effect. It's the trajectory that we have seen so many of these family vlogging channels go on, and it's all back to clicks and views, what went viral. Let's rinse and repeat that so that we can quit our jobs, buy a mansion, do all the things that family vloggers do.
Talking shit about their parents, telling them how horrible they are, how they shouldn't be living there. They're exploiting them for pedos. Like,
There are really bad people that take in family vlogger content. It has been proven before. The demographics have been shown many different times, and that is not a conspiracy. It is very much a fact that bad people are seeking out family vlogging channels, downloading the videos, and sharing them to the dark web and other disgusting websites where corn is shared. So that cannot be refuted. Now, as I said before, I don't think that you need to call somebody a piece of shit to get your point across. But if you know that P's are taking in your content and downloading it, and you continue to put out videos showing your children in bathing suits and doing gymnastics and having period talks and all of this kind of stuff, I think that you have very flawed morals, but I still will not come out and say that you're a piece of shit because I can get my point across without name calling.
It's just so twisted to me. It's not even like based in reality. Get your fucking mind out of social media for a second and focus on the real world around you. Like,
the real world around me is social media. We are living in a day and age of everybody having social media presence, children not being advocated for, children being used as content without proper consent, having their entire lives plastered all over these channels before they can even realize what the internet is, what a digital footprint is, what bad people lurk around on social media. Like, they don't even have a concept of all of this, and before they can be educated on it properly, their whole childhood is already all over the internet. And that's why we are starting to hear from some of these kids, because kids aren't kids forever, and eventually, if they want to, they can and they will share their stories. I'm going to include a video at the end of this of a kid who's now an adult. She was vlogged as a child, and she shares her standpoint, so I will throw that in the end. So if you're interested, stick around and listen to her point of view as well.
these kids have great lives. Like, on surface level, like, they have everything they could ever ask for, pretty much. And you're gonna just pick on them and their families and their...
All right, so let's go down the good old argument of, oh, well, the parents are buying them stuff. They live in a nice house. Buying your kids things does not equate to a good childhood. Buying your kids things does not equate to happiness. Buying your kids things does not replace love, affection, and undivided attention. Children thrive by receiving undivided attention from their parents, their siblings, not having a vlog camera shoved in their face, having their mornings, filmed and put all over YouTube, having doctor visits filmed for TikTok. That is not an environment where they thrive in. You can give a child all of the electronics, all the video games, all the shoes, all the clothes. That will not replace what is a solid, nurturing environment. And I'm not anti-electronics. I'm not anti-social media, but I am anti spreading your kids all over the damn internet before they even realize what the internet is. And no amount of junk food, birthday parties, fancy houses, whatever will change my mind on that.
and their parents for one day, that they're going to be able to see those videos that you made about their parents. And that's going to make them start questioning things like, what? Did I have a bad child? No. I would say it's like a 50-50. Like,
I don't think that any video is going to gaslight a child into thinking that something was that it wasn't. Kids are very resilient and they're very intelligent. I cannot stand this idea of adults thinking that kids are dumb. Like, oh, we can just manipulate them because they're young and they don't realize. We can lie to them because they don't know what's going on. Kids are so much smarter than adults give them credit for, and I have said that in many videos. And apologies if you can hear Axel snoring. He is sleeping right here at my feet. But, I will stand on my own content here because that's all that I can do at the end of the day. If any child of a family vlogging channel, came in 10 or 15 years and somehow found my videos out there, I do not feel bad about any of the videos that I've done. I have reacted to things that were out there, ready for reactions. I have not name called. I have not bullied. I have not ever, tried to contact these people to get some kind of explanation. Like, I don't do that. I react to what's on the internet already and, keep it moving. So I couldn't care less if any of them come across my content. And as I said earlier, I do think that some of these kids as adults will say, well, hey, at least somebody was calling out the bullshit that was going on in my childhood. At least somebody saw it. Hopefully they, saw it without being equally as damaging in the content that they were making about said family.
50% of people do have kids that talk about this issue, and then 50% of people don't. They don't have any kids, and they're trying to tell people how kids should live. My honest...
All right, so the age-old, again, argument of, oh, if you're not a parent, you can't have an opinion on this, or your opinion doesn't matter. That is so ignorant, and it is so just mindless to literally tell somebody who has a moral compass, they are intelligent, they have feelings, that simply because I haven't birthed a child, that I can't look at something and say that this is wrong. What I am seeing is wrong. Because you don't need to be a parent to be able to see that telling the entire world what kind of medications your kids are on is wrong. Telling the entire world where your children go to school, where during the day they are not supervised by parents, you are putting that responsibility in the hands of a teacher and the staff at school. All of these red flags, all of these dangers all come into play, and you don't have to be a parent to be able to call out nonsense when you see it, period.
Opinion and feeling on these anti-mommy bloggers are like, they don't actually care. Like, the kind of shit that they pick on is like so petty and stupid. Like, they're just finding stuff to talk about because it gets views. I really don't think that the majority of people who make anti-mommy blogger videos I don't think they care. I think they're just talking to talk to get views, which is like the worst possible thing. Like, don't talk about shit you don't believe in.
All right, so as far as just picking on things and talking about it for views, if you're going to come out with your chest all puffed out and all of this kind of stuff and do this rant, then you should at least say who it is that you're talking about, because I hate when people do this. Do not clump in all creators together. Do not just rope them all together and say they're all bad, they're all good. You have to be a little bit more intellectual to be able to say, well, this person did so-and-so, I like that, I didn't like this other person did. It's a case-by-case basis. Like, to literally just a blanket statement, anyone who is anti-family vlogger to be in it for clicks and views and they don't really care and they're not passionate about what they're really talking about, call it out. Let's actually talk about, who do you have a problem with? Who is it that you are wanting to call out in this video, but you're not saying it? Because that is unfair. I don't like being compared to other creators. I don't like being roped in with other creators. If there's a problem with me and you can't stand my voice or the way that I look, or you just think that I'm, an opinionated idiot, then that's fine. But let's stop this like, oh, well, everyone needs to behave the exact same way. Everyone needs to think the exact same way. It's a case-by-case basis. So I don't know who the she was talking about here, but I can tell you guys that, as a reminder, I have a full-time job. YouTube is a hobby. YouTube will always be a hobby for me, and that's not something that I'm going to have to backtrack in a year or two, because I know for a fact that I will never do YouTube full-time. I will, and I've said this for over 2 years, I will always, at minimum, keep a part-time job. if things ever got to that point, I always want to continue working because I don't like the idea of relying on YouTube full time. It's not my thing. It's not going to be my thing. It's a hobby that I am very grateful, allows me to earn a little bit of extra income. But as far as doing it full time, not my thing. So I'm not in it for clicks and views. I'm in it to give my unsolicited opinion, as I always do. And I am very lucky and very grateful that, yes, it does pay me a small payment once a month. But if you want to talk about clicks and views, let's actually focus on who is it that you're so angry at? Let's talk about it. So either way, I'm going to include the other creators' video at the end of mine. So stick around if you want to hear from a girl who was in a family vlogging channel, and I will also link her profile down below. But it's just really ridiculous. This girl, Shay, who went off, she also has a video of her child. I think it's her child. If it's not her child, it's her nephew. But point being is that it is a child of her family. He's on TikTok dancing in his underwear. So that goes to tell me that you are very ignorant, or you just don't care about the internet not being a safe place to allow children, especially if they are running around, dancing around in their underwear. Like, the internet is not the place for that. It hasn't been ever. It isn't now. And I don't see it changing in the future because things are getting bad, and they are getting bad very quickly. So if I was her, I would do a little research, educate yourself, and come back with an updated point of view instead of sounding like just wah, wah, wah. I hate people who have issues with vlogging children who can't consent. Tell me how you guys feel down below. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
This whole anti-mommy vlogger, anti-mom.
Hi, my name's Cam. I'm 24 years old, and my mom shared my entire life online. When I was 9 years old, my period was shared to the public. At 12 years old, a man followed me home on my bike. The amount of predatory behavior that I was susceptible to the second that I got my own social media accounts that I was in charge of was enough to make me never want to go outside again, because that's how detrimental it is to the mental health. I have multiple kids who are currently victims of family vlogging reaching out to me and thanking me for using my voice, for advocating for them, because they're children and they have stalkers, restraining orders. They don't feel safe in public. They have strangers approaching them in public. There's a literal CP ring outside of Russia that takes people's kids' Facebook photos and puts them on a predatory website. There's nothing anybody can do about that except parents protecting their